Hi, my name's Dow Tate, and this is Digital News Production, or Harbinger class. Just when you think there's no surprises after teaching 34 years, not that our friend Riley Atkinson, who was named National High School Journalist of the Year, and our fourth one here at Shawnee Mission East was a surprise, a national record. How cool is that? But you don't expect the Kelly Clarkson show to call up and say, we'd love to have Riley on. But that's what happened, and how cool is that? And it's a great experience. And I think if you've watched, you know that they're going to actually follow her in through college and help her out. And I really think she's going out there again this year. She speaks at the National Convention in LA. They're having her out, I think, to be interviewed again by Kelly at some point. So anyway, what a cool experience. And here we are again, getting ready to start another year of 32 pages every 2 weeks, a website that's updated pretty regularly each week. And, they get started, as you all know, no matter what it was, hybrid, remote, in person, these kids kept trucking. And some of you, this is all new to, and, they publish pretty regularly. And whether it's online or social media, they're always producing content. So it's a pretty prolific group. And it all starts here at just brainstorming ideas. And so that's kind of one of those things we like kids to do. And feel free, by the way, as parents, I know they're going to roll their eyes, but to give them ideas, to sort of, have a family discussion about stories going on or whatever that would make good stories. I think that's perfectly good to happen, because the more that happens, I think the better they are and the more they know that everybody's looking and reading. And helping them out. I think even some of the kids mentioned that this year in some of the classes, that's actually helped. So ignore the eye rolls and move on. And so the kids actually produce regularly. It's all their publication, by the way. It's a total student-run publication. And this group, they enjoyed themselves. Even a little Harbinger last year, and formed a little bond in the face of everything that they went through. And they didn't miss a beat, just kept going. But it all is a credit to them. And it's quite an experience if you've never had a kid on staff. It's not always pretty because it is student run and student led. And so that's, there are gaps in communication at times and miscommunication. But it all ends up in pretty, in a pretty good place. This last year, we found out the National Scholastic Press Association, a national organization, came out with a list that they'll actually honor at their national conventions this year. They honored their top 100 publications for the last 100 years. And so they ranked those through the top 10 and then on through the top 100. And proud to say that all three Shawnee Mission East publications were on that list. And also the old publication that I taught back in Dallas, the Hillcrest Hurricane, those kids enjoyed it because they too were on that list. So what a great list to sort of be on and be honored as the top 4 publications. And there's only one other school that had as many publications on the list. And I actually think it's a monster program in California, Palo Alto, with 4 instructors and such. But that's at the end result of what it is. We're at the front end of this. And as you know, we did the Gloria Shields workshop. We couldn't do it in person there this year, but we did want to do something different. So we had leadership exercises. We brought in food for these kids and really tried to make it more still a group experience and something where it wasn't just sort of done from their couch or their bed, as they've all experienced last year. And so I think it worked out pretty well. I think they had a good time. I think they learned some things. I think they worked together. They planned and worked for the year. And again, just those leadership exercises outdoors where they didn't have to have masks and they were just having a good time. And also making some points. So this is the whole group there at all the Shawnee Mission schools together. We took a little quick portrait the last day, had t-shirts for them. So anyway, so for those of you who had that, we hope that was a good experience and something positive going into the year. And these kids haven't wasted a minute. They've done training, they've done boot camps, as you know, that they've been involved in, and they've done their scavenger hunt, which they entertain themselves in, and kind of got to know each other a little bit. So I know that it's all been separated for a year and a half, and so they're really just making a good, strong effort to bring everybody back in the fold and to understand what it's about being on this publication. The expectations of them, so we said pretty high, and you saw that top 100 list, and these kids typically have some of the best publications in the country. And it really starts there. It really starts here, and it starts with developing story ideas. Every student comes up with story ideas about every week, every 2 weeks. They need to post those developed story ideas. That's a good 10% of their grade. There is a business component that they'll be doing. So they're expected to, just like a business has to survive. There's a number of ways to get that credit. Ad sales is one of them. Attempting to sell ads to places is another. And then there's some various activities getting the papers out into the community in certain places where they can be picked up and gain community sort of outreach and connection and viewership. And so there's some things there that make up a percentage of that grade. Should be beats where they're meeting and connecting with people in the know and certain groups and in the school and in the community. But also editors are going to evaluate their ability to meet deadlines. Student-run publication where editors are kind of making sure that kids follow through, but they're also being there not just to sort of check on them, but to help them. And so I think that's sort of being established really early on, that there's always somebody to go to. And we say it from the first day, don't struggle, ask questions. They've got my cell number, they've got their editors and things cell numbers, so they're encouraged to ask questions if they don't quite understand what they're doing. And it's part of communication, it's part of learning that process. And then of course the final product where I'm gonna do a critique. So you say, well, it's all student run. Yes, I'm probably the whisperer, the person who's kind of there talking to kids along the way, giving feedback along the way, and certainly things published. And then there's lots of critiques and feedbacks that I then post online. And then there's a multimedia product part of this that we'll get into. So one thing we're really going to encourage kids, is our mantra is make yourself marketable. We're always looking to push kids to be creative. And look, and this is something the kids did a few years ago. It's just that motion graphic piece that this kid used to get an internship with. And, I tell kids all the time, and other kids tell them, we bring in kids in FaceTime or WebEx into their classroom, and you hear other kids say how much this or that they learned made a difference, that they weren't a designer, but that they learned Creative Cloud, and that got them an internship. So there's a ton of those stories of kids making themselves marketable and through this program, and that's really the benefit. They may have one role that they're listed as, but that doesn't limit them. So we always encourage that. We encourage them to push beyond just the minimum of whatever is due that that semester, that issue. Some kids here, they put together a whole package of 18 under 18 and design that and photograph that and package that online. So really the process has worked over the years to encourage initiative and creativity. Again, this is one of those motion graphics where the kids have just had fun with it, been creative, and then of course posted this on social media. Or this, where it was an advertising piece where they did giant cutouts back when we had broadcasts, and we were looking to publicize those. So there's just a history of kids looking to be creative, and it's really, again, paid off. I used this with the first couple of days talking about Diego. Some of you know Roberto. This is his brother who did some great stuff on his high school and his high school portfolio for us on video. And what is the MU sports team spelling his football that snatched him up pretty quickly. And then when there, he made a quick jump. And here he is, not even out of college, and he's interning for the NFL. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. He took pictures of Miley Cyrus, which then got reposted by Miley Cyrus, which pumped him up. And he could tell you there's the fashion icon, the designer who designed her outfit, that also reposted it. So that just tells that, just remind them that they're building towards something else. They're building skill sets. Here are 3 students. Who worked for the New York Times, 3 former students of mine. I try to share these kids' stories with kids so that they see that kids can get jobs in media of different sort, but also the skill sets, no matter if they go into media or not, are useful. And that's where somebody like Evan comes in, because Evan was an assistant editor, and then he's working for Google. So you can really just see that, but this kind of thing, pays off for kids, and they need to see that. They need to see what's ahead. Our last one, just kind of publicizing the program a little bit. Most of you know this, but this program has produced 2 Pulitzer winners and 2 finalists. So you look here and you've got, Laura actually was a Pulitzer winner and a finalist. And then Morgan Krakow, the best part of that story, and some of you've heard this, is she was a finalist as an intern. She interned at the Washington Post, did a good piece of the data reporting, if I remember right, and ended up winning the Pulitzer out of it, or not winning a Pulitzer. Sorry, I've always pushed her to that level. She loves that. But no, she was a finalist that year. So good stuff ahead. So you'll get to see some of that hopefully this year. We'll do a showcase in January. Think Science Fair meets journalism, in which you'll be able to come up and see what goes into the kids' work. It's part portfolio, really the part process, see what they're experiencing, what they're doing, and what it takes to sort of produce, and the sort of the brainstorming that goes into that. And that's sort of what you'll see, that there's a lot of work. It's not just a one and done. It's not just sort of a simple, crank out a story and you're finished kind of approach, because it takes more than that to do quality work. And you'll also be getting, some things here pretty soon from our parent boosters, our J boosters group, because we'll need some people. All right, we need some people right now to probably help out with that showcase. So there's a couple of those positions, but then there'll just be ways that will come to you to support the journalism program and the kids. And one of those is our parent dinners. So anytime these kids will be staying up here late, they usually come up here at least once every 2 weeks, that they're at school for for several hours in the evening, depending on their position. Some are here longer than others, and some may meet over at their groups in writers copy editing group meetings. So there's that kind of work. And those nights, especially the nights that they're here, we try to provide dinner. And I think this year, as we have been able to do previous years, or we did it last year, where we actually ended up going down to the lunchroom and having dinner there. We'll check and see as we get closer how that's going to work. But last year it worked. Everything just had to be individually wrapped, and but it was still the same experience, that kids got to be together and didn't have to run off and eat dinner somewhere. So yeah, so those are some of the advantages. I do always throw this in here to remind parents and everybody else and kids that sometimes it's a frustrating process. You can see this picture was not exactly focused. It was hard to shoot. And this was like my first year here. This girl shot this. And I used this past week with kids to remind them that here's where she started, here's where she finished. This was actually National Picture Year that same year. So she started off the process, kept after it, kept understanding, learning the process and working on it, and understood there was going to be some failure along the way. And that's just part of the deal. And survived that and kept after it and ended up winning National Picture Year. So these kids, as I said before, have had a storied history. And the fun thing as I do this wall is they start winning awards as they come into the room. But the fun thing about it is there's a lot of kids' pictures up there. It's not just 1 or 2 kids. So the success of these kids usually is across the board. And same thing here. You'll see a whole list of a whole group of different kinds of kids up there winning awards in lots of different areas. So that's the cool thing. It's kind of something that builds for their college resume. So that's just sort of a glimpse of what we do. Again, we're coming back to you for parent boosters with more information, and there'll be a communications kind of a newsletter that'll go out and fill in some more information there on trips as we find out more and things about those coming up and such. But in the meantime, if you need to reach me, again, my name's Dow Tate. There's my email address, eatate@smsd.org. I will respond to that pretty quickly. The 6680 number rings in at my desk. You can certainly call that after, usually it rings in after school's out, but I'll get a message during the day, so you can also do that. And really most of my kids have my cell number anyway, because I'm on call if they're having problems. And we tell kids at the beginning, it's like, ask questions, don't struggle. Lots of people are here to help you. So if you're brand new, lots of people that give you feedback and help you along the way, and to make the year great and to make it a positive experience for you. So there you go. If you have any questions, let me know, and you have a good day.